Hello, friends, and welcome to Wonderland. My name is Allison, the self-proclaimed priestess of Wonderland, and I'm here to encourage you to be the priestess of your own world and live the life of your imagination. Today, I have an extra special new moon solar eclipse in Aries pick a card reading for you today. And the reason why it's extra special is because I have been practicing channeling, automatic writing, and getting direct messages from spirit. Each of these three groups has an ascended master that has a message specifically for you. And the other reason why it's a little bit different is normally we have like for an Aries moon, I would usually do like 3 different candles, or for an earthier moon, I would do all crystals. And for an airy moon, I would probably do, I don't know, incense or something. I don't know. But I have different significators on each of the groups. First of all, the first one comes with this sovereign bebop and this celestite crystal. And number 2 has this sexy bebop and a candle. And then group number 3 has the courage bebop and a feather. So if either of these piles calls out to you, you will find the timestamps below for 1, 2, or 3. And I do have a collective message that I would like to read first before you get started with your reading. So Aries is the first house of the zodiac. The first house of the zodiac and the first house of your birth chart represents the self. So whatever sign rules your first house represents a lot of who you are. So this is where your rising sign is. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the first house of the zodiac. So it represents the self. This Aries new moon solar eclipse is calling all of us out to put yourself first. This is a self-care, fill your own cup first, or a put your oxygen mask on first before assisting others. But because eclipses are digging up the shadows, it is asking us to look at ourselves first before judging someone else, and look at yourself first before reacting. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. We are all mirrors of each other because we are all one. Your coworker who is annoying you, take a look in the mirror before you react to them. Take a look at their behavior. Is that something that you also do? And that is why it is triggering you. We are all mirrors of each other because we are all one, attempting to have an individual experience. So I hope that you're ready for this eclipse energy to just burn away all of those difficult feelings, those unwanted emotions. And I hope you're ready to just clear everything out, do that spring cleaning energetically and physically. And you're ready to start spring and start this year with enthusiasm and fire and creativity and inspiration and all of the wonderful, glorious things that Aries and spring has to offer. If you're interested in a more private or personal reading, those are available on my website at priestessofwonderland.com. Let me know in the comments which pile you chose, rock, candle, or feather. And thank you for taking time out for yourself today. I can't wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. Hello, Group 1. If you chose the Sovereign Bebop, then this is your reading for this wild and crazy Aries new moon solar eclipse for April of 2024. I still can't believe I'm saying April. So we don't have that many cards to go through today, but we do have a lot of information that's coming through. And let's just start with the tarot cards here. In the center, and this seems to be like the main focal point of this reading, is this card Reclamation, which is traditionally in the traditional tarot deck the Devil card, but they have renamed it Reclamation. So we're going to read the information from the guidebook here because it is very significant and potent to like this is the first group, and I wasn't really sure what tarot deck to use for Aries readings because I don't really have a fiery deck, and I thought about I have a really colorful deck and I thought about using that, but then I was like, oh, it's an eclipse energy, so we're experiencing darkness during the day. So we're using this intuitive night goddess tarot. And so when these cards came up and when I was reading, what was their reasoning for choosing Reclamation for the Devil card? And it's all about, the Devil card itself is about being chained to a lot of times addiction or habits, or stuck in one way of living and trying to control things. It's about control. So their reasoning for choosing Reclamation instead of the Devil is that you're reclaiming the control of your life. On either side of the Devil, we have the Nymph of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles. And right as I'm talking about this card, I did the reading as the Page of Cups. Isn't that funny? That might change things a little bit. And the reversed Seven of Wands. Okay, so that's so funny. So I think so they have changed let me make sure that the nymphs are the pages in here. Yes, because the nymphs are the pages and the warriors are the knights. And then there's the queen, and then Spirit is the king. Okay. So originally I did this entire reading based on this being the reverse Page of Cups. And I think it was the nymph that kind of threw me off. I mean, she's clearly holding a pentacle and not a cup. So I think nymph, I'm thinking water nymph. And this felt very yeah, it is coral and watery. This has a lot of water energy going on here for a earthy card. So, which is also kind of interesting because as someone who struggles being grounded, I use a lot of water energy to get grounded because I consider the bottom of the ocean and coral and sand, that's still part of the earth. Just because it's underwater doesn't mean it's not connecting to earth energy. So I typically use the bottom of the ocean a lot of times when I'm trying to get grounded. So originally doing this reading as the reversed Page of Cups would be not paying attention to your intuition. And the message that I was getting, thinking that it's the Page of Cups, is that I was getting the feeling that you're kind of aware of these things that might be chaining you, restricting you, but you've been kind of ignoring them. And now is the time that this Aries eclipse is now is the time to break those chains and release. But now that I'm looking at this as the reversed Page of Cups, this is more about procrastination, lack of motivation. It can be laziness. You're just kind of meh. Which I think can also relate. I think that this energy can still relate to this reading. In regards to how I've channeled the messages here. And then with the Seven of Wands reverse, this is about needing to stop fighting, to stop struggling, to just surrender and let go. And for those of you that chose this group specifically, to really just surrender and trust that Spirit is supporting you. So my initial messages for this group was I was kind of feeling like you guys were being called out. Looking at this as the reverse Page of Cups, you're like, you knew that this was coming. You know it's time to break those chains and start moving forward. And I was just kind of feeling like this oomph feeling, like this, like, ugh, I know. You're getting called out. Like, don't avoid it. No, you know what it is referring to, and it's time that you faced it. Surrender to spirit. Stop trying to control everything and trust that the universe has your back. And you can allow the Aries eclipse fire to burn away all any chains, any fears, any worries, any negative thoughts and or habits that are preventing you from being the person that you are becoming. And I want to read the Devil card because it's a really beautiful message in here for you guys. This is a time to reclaim your narrative. It may be difficult, but be patient and keep showing up for yourself. You may not always feel most grounded, but take a look around and see where you can help yourself. Don't let the stories or ideas of who you are determine who you are becoming. And this felt really significant for you guys. Don't let the stories or ideas of who you are determine who you are becoming. You are your own master. You are the only thing you can truly control. So take that power into your own hands and free yourself from the fear and cycles that do not serve you. We have the choice for steadier footing or to be stumbling upon the wet rocks and rushing waters. You allow yourself to be held back by insecurity, fear, toxic relationships, addictions, etc., or you have the power to free yourself from those burdens. We are all marked with a darkness inside to help us grow and learn. We are not the stories we are told. Our individual actions determine our destinies. We are not always the monsters that we fear. And the Ascended Master that comes through for you today is Commander Ashtar. The keywords on here are leadership activation, time to evolve, trust in your ability to guide others. So when I ask for a message from Ashtar, they say, you are so much more powerful than you think, and you are so much more powerful than you allow yourself to be. Trust, surrender, and let go. When was the last time you had a day with no plan or agenda? Practice being present and patient in the moment and just see what comes. Can you give yourself this gift with no restraints or vices to alter your mood or suppress emotions that you do not want to feel or look at? Can you move through the day without having an agenda or a time limit or any restrictions or restraints? Cleansing your physical body will be beneficial to your energetic system. Burn away the excess and flush your system with excess water. And when they were saying this, they were saying like you can use the eclipse or set the intention on the eclipse to burn away that excess energy. Like, and you can even do this in your physical space too. So this is like your physical body and also your physical space, like kind of spring cleaning kind of energy. And like burning all of that away is also going to need to be flushed out for you guys. So drinking extra water around the eclipse. And if you want assistance with this, they can help you. Connecting to Commander Ashtar, he asked for you to connect with him either at some point in time during the day on the Aries new moon, to meditate and try to connect with him, or before you go to sleep that night when you're laying in bed, ask, like, kind of do some deep breathing and ask to make a connection with Commander Ashtar. And they say, connect with me before you go to sleep on the day of the new moon, or meditate with me. I will help you to upgrade and transmit downloads so that you can begin to assist others more efficiently. So I feel like for some of you that have chose this pile, like you're already kind of doing some sort of spiritual work, and they're going to help you like do it more efficiently or give you like new activations to pass on to clients or customers, or put that energy into your art or whatever it is that you do. Teaching, I don't know, lots of different things. You are ready to step into your own power, release the shackles and restraints that you have put upon yourself. And they were very like specific about that. Like you decided to kind of hold yourself back or whatever to fit into society, and have kind of masked and hidden yourself away a little bit. Like you put these restraints on yourself because of a million different reasons. We all have different reasons for creating these identities that we want to be accepted in society. So release the shackles or restraints that you have put on yourself. And this is significant because you are the devil, as in like the devil card. You are the one in control, which means you are the one with the key to unlock it. So I think that there's something around the idea of these restraints that you're like, you're maybe putting the blame on something else. Like, well, I'm restricted because of money, or I'm restricted because of time, or I'm restricted because I'm a parent and I have to do these things, or I'm like, you're placing the blame everywhere else, but like you are the one that's in control. Therefore, you have the key to unlock and free yourself. You're the one in control and the one with the key to freedom. So the last two cards that we have here, like I said, there's a lot of information here, but not many cards. So we have from the Tree of Life Oracle, Death, Knowledge, Abyss, Secrets, Lessons Yet to be Realized, and the 12th Path, Magician, Magic, Divine Mind, and Intent. One thing that I also kind of jumped out at me about your reading here is the similarity of colors within these cards here. And the way I have them placed is, well, I originally had it like this, and how it feels like very eclipse energy. Like these purple cards are kind of coming in front of this bright yellow card that is the Magician. So the main figure in this card is a two-faced god. Oh, and by the way, so I channeled that message about you being the key before picking this card and before reading the guidebook, and listen to what it says. It says the main figure is a two-faced god. He is the key, the opener of gateways. He is endings and beginnings, past and future, above and below, mistakes and triumphs. What's thrown into the abyss will stay in until it's needed again, no matter how long it takes. What have you discarded? What knowledge do you hold that has yet to be implemented? Have you forgotten a great idea or left a plan to fester rather than take it forward? Why? So this felt very significant for you guys, and this being the gatekeeper and opening the way. And like you specifically buried some sort of hidden knowledge. And I mean, we all come to this planet without the memory of our past lives, or at least most of us do. I guess there are some people out there that can recall. I mean, we can recall our past lives, but we come into this life without the knowledge of the other lives that we've lived before. And so like this knowledge is hidden away, and there's something very significant for you that needs to be unearthed and needs to be unlocked. You may feel as if your own knowledge is not appreciated by those who focus on trends, fashion, and clever marketing ploys that have razzmatazz but no true depth. Perhaps you feel as if you're the abyss looking out. This is a place of secrets, yours and the ones you keep for others. Whether they should be revealed is a question you may be asking. Only you can decide. You're on the edge of reinventing yourself, repurposing an old idea, making a breakthrough that uses all the experience you've gained from your mistakes as well as your successes. It may be time to use your own errors to help others avoid making the same ones on their journey. Mentoring or guiding, perhaps. So this one's talking about mentoring or guiding. This one's talking about leadership. And then we have the Magician, which is about like using all of the tools that you have. This is very similar to it is basically the magician and the tarot card, even though the numbers are different. The magician has all she needs to complete the task at hand. She knows whether people believe it or not. Magic is a strategy that's as powerful as any other. She knows which element to use, where, and when. So the questions that go along in this card, which I think is going to be significant for you around this new moon, is what is your intention right now? What is it that you want to send out into the world? And how are you going to use your magic to make it so? Sometimes the best way to learn is to teach. So I know this was like a lot of information. Remember, there's the timestamps there if you have to go back and like listen to it again. So group 1, your new moon intentions are using Aries fire to burn away whatever's restraining you, restricting you, blocking you, using that fire energy to burn it away. And then we're also unearthing knowledge. Like when we talk about eclipses, we talk about a lot of times the shadow coming to the surface. But I think for you, this is wisdom and knowledge that can be coming to the surface at this time. So make a point to meditate at some point on the new moon. If you are not a meditator or whatever, before, like when you're lying in bed, when you close your eyes, just say, I set the intention to connect with Commander Ashtar. I ask that he visits me in his dreams, and you can work with it that way. That's actually one of the ways that I've kind of started, that I originally started like having deeper meditations, is to meditate before I go to sleep. If I fall asleep, it's fine. But I think like it's helped me to remember, have better dream recall if you're setting that intention before you go to sleep. And it's also helped my meditation practice too, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's helpful for anybody. So now I just set a timer on my watch when I meditate, just in case I fall asleep, so that I can be woken up again. Okay, did I say that correct? Okay, so burn away these shackles. You are the devil. You are the gatekeeper and the key holder. You have the ability to unlock this wisdom, and you're really meant to kind of integrate and download wisdom and knowledge around this time. And this can also, like when you move energy in your physical space, if you just rearrange your furniture, take out some, donate stuff to Goodwill that's been lying around in a box for a while, clear out your closets, do like when we're physically moving stuff in our space, we're also moving energy. So you're going to feel that physically and energetically, as well as you're just going to like feel better in your space, and you're going to feel more productive, and you're going to feel more in alignment, like with your body and with your energetic system and with your path. So thank you so much, group 1. If you would like an individual personal reading, those are available on my website, priestessofwonderland.com. I really appreciate you taking time out for yourself today. Thanks for hanging out with us in Wonderland. I can't wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. Hello, group 2. If you chose this orange sexy bebop, then this is your reading for the Aries new moon solar eclipse for April of 2024. So we have a lot of information to go through, but not that many cards. So let's start with the tarot messages here. In the center, we have the 3 of Wands, and then on either side, we have the 5 of Cups and the 8 of Cups. And the reason I'm presenting them in this way is that like the central card seems to be like the focus and like the intention that you should be setting around the new moon, whereas the cards on either side seem to be coming through as kind of maybe like what's been going on, what needs to shift, what needs to change. And for this group specifically, it kind of feels like this teeter-totter energy of like sometimes you're feeling 8 of Cups and you're like feeling confident about walking away from something, or maybe you have already walked away from something or you've left something, but then you kind of teeter-totter back to like maybe having buyer's remorse or regret, or like just feeling like, oh, did I make a mistake? So it's kind of like you're going back and forth between, yeah, I'm ready to move on, I can't wait to do this new thing, or you're closing a chapter in your life. But then at the same time, you're also like grieving that chapter in your life that you've already walked away from it. You wanted to walk away from it. You felt good about walking away from it, but there's still some things that are left to process that kind of leave you kind of in this back and forth motion. Instead of like the 3 of Wands in the center here, she's just frolicking forward with no cares in the world. She's got her plans made and set, and she's just like leaping into whatever the next thing is for you. This is what we want, but this is kind of where we're stuck right now. So for those of you that chose this group, setting intentions around this new moon about making a plan, following through with the plan, and moving forward, using that fire energy for illumination and creation. And this is a very sacral chakra kind of energy. We want this movement and we want this flow. So for those of you that chose this group, we want this fire, Aries fire, to be activating for you and stimulating and creative and inspiring and specifically illuminated. And I had to light a candle for this group. It's about to go out now. It's kind of off to the side here. It's already melted down, but like I felt called to light a candle during this reading for illumination purposes, for finding that clarity, finding where your wands are, where your fire is. So first of all, don't feel bad. Apparently, we are all being called out with this Aries new moon. We're all being called out for something, and you are being called out for being wishy-washy. You're like, I made this decision, I moved on, I'm doing this thing, but I'm also super sad about it at the same time. And you're just like bouncing back and forth, teeter-tottering here. So you need to literally work with fire this new moon. Like, it might be beneficial for you guys to light a candle as well. Ask or set intentions to kindle your inner fire. We've got way too much water here. We've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cups. 13 cups here. And we want this fire energy to be illuminated. So we've got too much water. It needs to be dried out with fire. Use fire to light the way. And I was also getting a lot of need for this like air energy too, like allowing things to dry out. And then also like we need all of the energy except for water. We need earthy energy, we need fire energy, and we need air energy. So I asked an Ascended Master to come through with a message for us for this new moon, and we have Mary Magdalene for you all. Her keywords on the card here are sacred vessel, and you are the answer. Be guided to your purpose, which again, I think is very similar to the 3 of Wands message here in the center. The 3 of Wands is typically depicted by like somebody standing and these 3 ships are coming in. They're kind of looking out on the horizon and they see all of these things coming in. And like symbolically, that's representing like the things that you've planned, the things that you manifested, they're now coming. You just have to like be patient. But I think for those of you that chose this group, there is like this processing that needs to happen, processing whatever this heavy emotion is, this sadness, this grief, this emotion that you're having trouble letting go of, so that we can stop going back and forth. I think there's been some ignoring of processing of emotions because I think they were difficult and they were heavy. And so Mary Magdalene's message for you is thank you for holding space for others. I am the Earth Mother here to hold space for you. Let me hold you. Fill this vessel, and it seems like she's holding a vessel there. Fill this vessel with the released emotions that you are willing and able to let go of, that you have been holding on to for far too long. Release, let go, so that you can create more space for what is coming to you with the Three of Wands card. Feminine energy holds so much. The feminine receives and receives and receives into an infinite vessel. It is a vessel that never overflows because it is bottomless. It is infinite. It's a never ending channel and a cycle that continues forever. But your channels for receiving are blocked. Although you continue to give, lean on me for support. When you allow yourself to be held by the Divine Mother, you are being receptive. This aids you in finding and creating your own flow and rhythm. Move this energy through you. And she was recommending like some sort of physical movement like qigong or yoga that is like slow, intentional, like finding this like flow and rhythm is going to be very beneficial for you all. And she says to lean into me, sway like a tree in the wind, breathe and sway, breathe and sway, breathe and sway. And this channeling was more of like this feeling of just like groundedness, earthiness, like being held and supported, like leaning into the seat that you're sitting on and having this like flow and rhythm of movement is going to help like unstick some of this energy. Like there needs to be this, I just keep feel like my body keeps swaying, and I know you can't see me, but my camera's not working right now. Like there's this sway and movement of just like release that energy, release those emotions. So this Aries eclipse might be like unearthing something that you've been suppressing, something that you've been avoiding, something that might be difficult to process. So the eclipse is going to be unearthing this for you, and Mary can help you like support you and hold you while you're releasing these emotions. And you want to add movement to this practice with her, almost like a dance that is just I think the movement is significant for you guys because I don't know, this thing feels very difficult to process. So there's like this holding, and even if it were to bubble up to the surface, you might release a little bit of it, but then you stuff it back down again. So like the movement is going to help. Once it comes up to the surface, we're moving it through, we're moving it out of the way, we're taking it a little bit by little bit and allowing for it to totally cleanse from your system. So this connection to Mary Magdalene for you is more about like an embodiment of it, like allowing yourself to feel supported by the Divine Mother, by the Divine Feminine, because I think like when we're trying to do shadow work or like process things or work through things, we feel like it has to be this like active thing. Like I have to do this thing, and I know I'm asking you to be active and move, but like we have to, I don't know, it just you need to look at it from a feminine way and not a masculine way. A masculine way is going to be like the unearthing it and the ripping it out and the like forcing it out kind of energy. But this is like leaning into the feminine, leaning into the mother, like leaning into the seat that you're sitting on, leaning back in your chair, feeling yourself supported, feeling yourself held by the divine, held by the mother. You could even like wrap yourself up in like a cloak or a blanket and just like sway and move and allow your body to just process that energy and move it through your body. The two other cards that we have for you are the Soul Triangle, Mystical Soul-Led Harmony, and the 25th Path, Art, Temperance, and Self-Sufficiency boldness, and devotion. I didn't realize this before, but there's a bunch of different ascended masters on here, and I believe this one might be Mary Magdalene also. I didn't notice that before. And so like when I was just holding this up to the camera, I was like, look at all of the people that are supporting you. Look at all the spirits, the ancestors, the ascended masters that are here to support you and hold you. I feel like maybe some of you that have chosen this group are either a mother or a motherly figure, and you're so used to supporting everybody else, and you might not have a mother that can support you right now, or you might not have a physical human support system. Like, you can allow the divine to support you because we are all always supported. So the message of the Soul Triangle card was kind of very brief. You and you alone must decide what energy is needed, where, and when. Silent contemplation could help you hear the voice of your soul. The uncomfortable truths that sit in your body won't go away until they are recognized and acted on. I'm going to read that again. The uncomfortable truths that sit in your body won't go away until they are recognized and acted on, which I've already talked about before. What your practice is. I don't know how many times I can wave my hands in front of the camera and try to depict what I'm trying to say here. So the Art and Temperance card is, it's easier to sleep than act, easier to eat chocolate on the sofa while scrolling through television channels, but just how does that serve you? New choices that are coming into your life now may mean missing the final episode of your favorite show, but their benefits will be tenfold. Don't shy away from bold choices. That could mean you're not as informed about pop culture, but you are filling your heart and soul with information and experiences that light you up. We're all guilty of that, right? Self-sufficiency is more than homegrown veggies and solar panels, although they are a good start. It's knowing that you're good enough. In fact, you're amazing. This process could bring up some uncomfortable truths for you and those around you, but this healing element of the path is important, and you should not be ignored. Turn and face the truth and heal from a place of true wisdom. You're growing bolder, increasing your positive vibration, and building a building. Pour from a full cup, not an empty one. So I forgot to talk about the Mary Magdalene message that was talking about the vessel, the feminine is totally infinite because it has this flow and this rhythm to it that is infinite. And I forgot to mention, look, he's pouring from one cup into another, and the Eight of Cups here are literally infinitely is it evaporating up into that one and also falling down at the same time? These vessels are infinite. But a lot of times we don't allow for that infinity. We try to give all of our energy away, especially if you are a mother type figure in your life. And this doesn't have to mean that you are feminine, identify as female, or you don't have to be a mother. There are masculine people in the world that support people as well. So it's just, you are the person that is always supporting people in your friend group or in your family. Or if you are a mother, then mothers give too much without receiving. So allow yourself to receive. So again, group 2, set your new moon intentions around using the Aries fire element to illuminate, literally light a candle. Use something that activates your fire and your sacral chakra, and using the fire to dry up some of this water. Light a little fire under these cups here, so that the water can evaporate out and you can process these heavy emotions and difficult emotions. Get this stuff moving. Let me wave my hands in front of the camera one more time. Get this energy moving, whether that's through some sort of physical exercise or something that's a little bit more low impact, like yoga or qigong, or just literally sitting in your chair and swaying back and forth. Okay, we had another swaying in front of the camera moment again. So setting your intentions about illuminating, activating your fire. I would recommend like lighting a candle for you, allowing and asking for calling on Mary Magdalene to support you, or if there's some other feminine energy, whether that's Pachamama is a really lovely one because she literally like the mountains and the earth, and you can feel that support and you can feel that groundedness, and you feel like you can allow yourself to just relax and drop into that supportive energy. And using the eclipse energy, that's going to the eclipse energy can really dig up those emotions. And if you've been suppressing them and putting them down and ignoring them and distracting yourself and keeping yourself busy, ask for this eclipse energy. Like, I'm ready to process these emotions. Let's dig it up. Let's move it out. And then you can be ready for all of this positive energy that's coming your way to come in. So group 2, if you would like a more personal reading and a private reading to talk about things in this reading or more, those are available on my website, priestessofwonderland.com. Thank you for hanging out in Wonderland and taking time out for yourself today. I can't wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. Hello, group 3. If you chose the Courage Bebop, and then this is your reading for the new moon in Aries solar eclipse for April of 2024. So, group 3, ouch, ouch, ouch. You are feeling the sadness of the world while trying to process your own. I'm also sensing some grief around some of you, possibly like recent grief. And I was getting the messages that tell you that like, it's okay. It's okay to grieve. Be on your own timeline. Do not stress or worry about getting back to quote unquote normal. There is no going back. There is only moving forward towards something new. And I really do want to emphasize that because I don't think it's talked about enough in society. Not much is like outwardly talked about around grief. And, you know, when people in your life are grieving, you always say to them, oh, just let me know if there's anything I can do to help. But for people who haven't experienced grief or very deep loss of someone who's very close to you, or they've just forgotten because it's been a while since they've experienced. Like when you are grieving, you just don't even know what to ask for or what to do. So it's very difficult to reach out and ask for things because you don't know what to ask for. And I also want to emphasize the timeline thing. It took me well over 3 years to finally get to a place that felt somewhat quote unquote normal for me, or felt like I was like living my life again. And that felt like a very long time. And I used to kind of be really hard on myself because I was just like, why are you not okay yet? Like, why is this taking so long? And even now, like 8 years later, I think every now and then it just like pops up. It just pops up out of nowhere. And yeah, it's probably like 6 months. Like it's every 6 months instead of like every minute, like when you are first experiencing grief. But I kind of feel like if you are or if you are okay before the first year, I kind of don't believe you. And I think that's going to probably pop up and be more difficult like later on in life. I think that the first year is very significant to grieving. And because it's the first year is the year of firsts, and you have to experience every moment of an entire year for the first time without that person in your life, or without that animal companion in your life, or whatever friendship, whatever relationship it is to you, because you have to experience all the firsts. You have to experience all of the holidays without them, even like little silly ones that you probably have never thought of. You have to experience everything for the first time. Like little like weird thing. There was weird things like going to a movie in a movie theater for the first time without being able to like talk to that person about the movie, or without being able to go see the movie. Like I just burst out crying in the movie theater because I was like, they're never going to experience this movie or at least I thought that at the time. I know better now that I can invite my dad to a movie whenever I want to. But you have to do these first. You have to do the first Christmas, the first Father's Day, the first summer vacation, you have to experience the first, like, if it's an animal companion, you have to every day remember that you're not putting that bowl of food out for them. And a year is probably feels like a long time to most people, but I think that should be the bare minimum. But anyways, be on your own timeline. So we have the moon in the center here, and I'm going to read the messages. So how these readings have been going today is like the center card seems to be like the focal point, and even kind of maybe something that you should be setting intentions around. And then it seems like the cards on either side of it are the cards that are kind of like what is, like, in this reading's case, I think it's like what is instigating this moon moment in your life. And the Three of Swords is on the left and the Nine of Swords is on the right. So this is something very painful, something very difficult and emotional. This could be a breakup or a heartache, but I was just really kind of feeling grief for some of you. Maybe not all of you, but something very emotional. Maybe this Aries moon is like kicking up some old emotions that you've kind of suppressed and have been difficult to deal with. I was really feeling like, again, the Nine of Swords relating to grief in this like anxiety and worry, like, when am I going to be okay? Like, why can't I stop worrying about this? Why can't I stop feeling this? Why can't I stop, like, kind of worry over why can't I get over this? Whether that's grief or a heartache or a difficult emotion that just keeps popping up. It might be Chiron issues, because Chiron issues are the things that we go through in life that I feel like wherever your Chiron is, whatever your Chiron placement is, I feel like these are wounds that it's the wounded healer planet. So these are wounds that are very difficult to overcome. We encounter them over and over again throughout our lives, and it just is what it is. These are wounds and obstacles and experiences that we go through in our life that are meant to teach us a lesson. And when we say the term wounded healer, it's like, I have experienced this, so I know how to help you with this. I know how to help others with this because I have experienced this. Maybe that's why I'm talking about my own grief. So I want to read the message in the moon because it felt very significant for you. The moon presents us as a goddess with her eyes closed, holding a candle to guide her way and trusting the direction in which she is headed. A dog and a wolf stand on either side of her, representing our primal, wild side and our tame and socialized side. A lobster walks from water to land, revealing our dualistic aspects that can be blended. We can transition and be more than just one version of ourselves. The moon is our reflective side, our emotional self, and where our hurts reside. This is a card of intuition, so trust the messages you are receiving. Work through the muck to decipher your own language with the universe. Find balance in self and trust that you are the walker between worlds. Look for the way things present themselves and pay attention to the energy around you. This is a time of deep reflection to integrate your shadow and your light. Recognize your fullness. I just love the descriptions in this book because they just feel so right and so perfect. And I just love the energy and the intention that went into making this deck. Now, I also asked for an Ascended Master to give us some messages today. And the Ascended Master coming through for you is Isis, reclaiming magic, call back your power, and what is rightfully yours. So Isis's message to you is everything you do is magic. Every step you take and every word you speak is an incantation for co-creating with spirit. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I was getting the song Every Breath You Take, every breath you take, every move you make. So, you know that song? But now when I'm reading it again, I realized the lyric or the words I wrote, everything you do is magic, that's also a song. Every little thing you do is magic. every little, I don't know the words to that song though. But I just realized. So I was getting two songs coming through. I don't know if that's significant for any of you. Sometimes spirit just communicates with songs for me. So I don't know if take what you will with that. So she also says you are never alone. After the songs came through, I was just kind of like picking up random phrases that they don't really congeal together, but so you are never alone. Mending, weaving, or mending and weaver, and weaving lightning of the heart takes time. And I'm also just like getting a lot of sensations around my heart, like physical heart. And it kind of feels like this tingly, slow mending, like so, like at like kind of like mending a hole in socks, like weaving it back together. Like there's damage and holes there from the pain that you've been feeling or experiencing. And it's just this slow process of like weaving it all back together. So I was also getting shown that's why we have the feather here. I was getting shown to like use a feather on yourself, like on your skin, like anywhere on your skin, like brush yourself with a feather. This feather is actually like very, very stiff and hard. Like these ones are a little bit more wispy because I was getting more of like a wispy feather aspect because the exercise is meant to like teach you how to be gentle with yourself, like how to be soft and gentle and not so hard on yourself. Finding balance means that things might be unbalanced for a bit, and that is also okay. So our other two oracle cards here are the Chariot and Justice, adjustment. And I couldn't believe when this one, I was like, oh my gosh, is that Isis again? But this is actually Mahat. And it's funny because right before I shuffled the cards for this deck, I accidentally picked up the Ascended Master deck again and I started shuffling it and I was like, oh, whoops, this is the wrong deck. And then for a moment I had this thought like, oh, I wonder if there's somebody else that wants to come through. But then I was like, no, let's just pick, like I put down the deck and I picked up the other one. And when this came out, I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. So I'm going to read the messages from these cards. So it just describes that this is the Egyptian goddess Mahat. Will anyone miss thee by thy passing? The connections we make in life are important. Balancing your heart against a feather, which is also why the feather thing came up too. And that I don't know much about Mahat, but I do know that. So what's depicted here is that in Egyptian mythology that after you die, Mahat will weigh your heart against the weight of a feather. And that kind of proves whether or not you were a good person in your life. If your heart is very lighthearted and weighs less than a feather, then you get to go into the afterlife. If your heart is heavier than a feather, then you have to go to the underworld. So balancing your heart against a feather to determine your entry into the afterlife is said to be Mahat's role. This card reminds you that you are a soul in a human body on a karmic journey, experiencing the consequences of your action. You are creating situations that are giving you a chance to balance what is out of kilter in your life, and to do it with an honest appraisal of your part in any situation, especially one that holds he said, she said, they said vibration. To err is to human, and you're in human form now, so you're going to err. The skill is an unerring. Wait, this is confusing. The skill is in unerring. But who even knew that unerring was a word? With this card, you may be seeing what until now has been difficult to notice. What needs to be removed could be very clear. The actions and words of friends may feel manipulative, The Justice card points towards the consequences of your actions, regardless of who or what is piling stones onto the opposite side of the scales. Ultimately, you are responsible. A feather-like touch may be all you need to move something your way. Consider your options and adjust accordingly. That's so funny. I didn't even read that before, but I was getting the message that you needed to like do this practice of like being gentle with yourself by brushing your skin with a feather. And I'm not sure if this was like a message from Mahat or a continuation from Isis, but I was drawn to like the Cancer sign here. There is this need for those of you that chose this group to set intentions around allowing yourself to feel and grieve and taking care of yourself and mothering yourself and allowing yourself this time and space to do that. So this message is take a rest, nap, and dream. You will need your strength and courage. You have lots of work to do, but then go back to bed, rest, and dream, and then repeat. So you are healing from something right now. And when you're feeling like you have the energy to go out and do stuff, go out and do stuff. When you don't feel like you have the energy, rest. When you feel like you need to rest, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you feel like you have too much to do, rest. Rest, rest, rest. So this card says you are being asked to release energies that help bring stability, especially after a difficult time. The Charioteer lets you know that things are moving in the right direction. Everything will be okay. The Charioteer controls her animals, balancing her energy and feeling in control of her surroundings. A fierce determination to get the job done motivates her and drives her in the direction her soul knows is the absolute right way to go. What are you looking for? What is it that drives you forward? What prevents you from reaching your destination? Where are things you need to organize now? Things you need to put right? Perhaps not all of the mistakes are yours, but you still feel it's your role to correct them. As you put in the hard work, you're seen by those who can help you in the longer term. Who has run ahead and not played with the team? Perhaps yourself feel as if you don't need to be tethered to the ideas of another person anymore, but you can walk away without causing havoc. Would it be wiser to slow down and make plans that include everyone? You can remain in the safety of your own shell while changing the place you find yourself in. Your soul travels in your physical body. Wherever you go, there you are. Create a new world for yourself through discipline, direction, and effort. I do believe that last part there is very significant for you, so I'm going to read it again. You can remain in the safety of your own shell while changing the place you find yourself in. And that reminds me of Turtle Spirit too. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I just did an animal pick a card reading, and that was the message of Turtle Spirit. Because Turtle Spirit always has their home with them. Your soul travels in your physical body. Wherever you go, there you are. Create a new world for yourself through discipline, direction, and effort. And I really just see you kind of like taking small little steps, like taking one step forward, pausing, crying, healing, resting, napping, eating nourishing foods, taking care of yourself, and then taking a few more steps. And then again, resting, nourishing yourself, taking care of yourself, and then you can move forward a few steps. Just take it in like really small bites, really small steps, and moving forward. And that this healing process that you're going through right now is meant to help others as well. By helping yourself, you're in turn helping others. And that this integration and this transformation that you're going through will be helping you reclaim your magic. as the Isis card says here. And that's all I have for you, group 3. Remember to have the courage to take care of yourself. And I just want to give you a big, big hug and sending love and healing your way. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you so much for taking time out for yourself today. I hope that you're able to go take a nap and rest. And I can't wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. Take care.